And welcome back, everyone, to What If? Not What If, Who Would Win? I just got done with the What If. Who would win? The week of Who Would Win. And every day, as always, I am doing a Who Would Win leading up to the speed round where it's the end of the month. Now, the month actually ends on Friday, but because this is where the majority of the week is still May, I'm going to just treat this as the week. And coming to us from, surprisingly, from what I could find, only two people, Candace and Sun Wukong. Who wins in a fight? Straight out, Luffy or Naruto? Now, looking at these guys at their peaks, these guys are insanely powerful. Luffy is obviously the holder of what we originally thought was the Gomu Gomu no Mi, but as what it actually is, I believe it's actually called it's a Zoan fruit, not a Logia. Luffy, one second, called I believe, it's a Zoan fruit legend, a mythical model. Nika no Mi, if I'm not mistaken. I'm double checking that right now. Devil fruit. Where's your devil fruit? There, Luffy. Relationship, abilities, and powers. There we go. I need to be certain on that because Gear 5, even though I've paid attention to the series, I pay attention. I'm not a big follower of One Piece. I'm actually not that big a fan of it, if I'm going to be honest. I don't hate it or anything like that. It's not bad. It's just not. Personally, of the big three, the original big three, Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, it was my least favorite. I just was not a big fan of it. Now, in turn, which one is that? That Devil Fruit? The Gomu Gomu no Mi. Okay, during the one, it's revealed that it's actually a mythical. It's not the Gomu Gomu no Mi. It's actually the Hito no Mi Maro ni. That's what it is. I don't specifically know what that translates out to. What does that translate out to, actually? Is the sun fruit? Would that be it? I don't think it is, but, let's see. Goma Goma, so I know, Goma Goma turns out to the Gum Gum fruit. Hito no Mi model, I don't know what that translates out to, actually. Normally they have the translation there. I'm not exactly sure what that does. But it basically turns him into the sun god Nika. And he gains his rubbery attributes along with that. Because once it's awakened, it's actually revealed what the real fruit is. Not normally the user just has the rubber body. They have all the weaknesses of someone and abilities of someone rubber, like elasticity, immunity to pretty much any and all blunt force objects. Capable of expanding your body in multiple ways, insulation from things like lightning, and then awakening the fruit. Basically, go away. Stop it. Let me read the article. Jeez, I keep getting I'm on the wiki, and the page keeps giving me the unresponsive thing. For some reason, these wikis always have a bit of trouble with that. Anyway, Luffy can basically affect the surroundings and transform them into rubber, and including elements like natural lightning. However, unique to this fruit is that its alteration abilities can extend to living beings, as Luffy can influence flesh as if it were rubber too. It can even allow Luffy to create objects from nowhere and alter surrounding objects into something new. Considering it's similar to previous gears using fruits initially unaware of its true nature, it was dubbed Gear 5. Instead, the rubber body gains a regular adaptability that even stupefied the battle-hardened Kaido. And according to the $5, the fruit has not been awakened for centuries. It's believed that preventing the fruit from awakening would be worth incurring the wrath of Kaido. So there are still many weaknesses. Now, I don't know specifically if the Gear 5, Joy Boy as it's called, has a specific weakness. It has not really been said what the specific weakness of Gear 5 is. We're calling it Gear 5. What Gear 5 is, per se. But all Devil Fruit users cannot swim. They just sink like a stone in water. So if this fight somehow goes over the ocean, Luffy's effed. Which, in theory, is possible if Naruto were ever to figure out that weakness. He's still not immune to piercing weapons. His elasticity has limits, and his body will actually start to tear. He can still be hurt by individuals with hockey. Still not immune to energy attacks. Insulators can't hurt him like lightning. Fire still sure as shit can, because that's rubber melts in enough heat. Ice is also problematic as well. Let's see, hockey, yep, and so I believe that, and ability to negates devil fruits, like the Yami Yami no Mi is another one. Beyond all that, though, Luffy is still a hardened pirate, capable of a great sailor, skilled hand-to-hand combatant. His Goma Goma powers, if we'll call them, his double fruit powers have many ranges of abilities, including, Gear 1, which is his standard style. Gear 2, where he pumps his blood. I believe it's described as him pumping the rubber blood vessels through his rubber blood, because his blood is rubber, technically, through his rubber vessels at heightened speed that basically increases all of his physical attributes, and steam starts to come off. Gear 3 is when he basically uses the fact that he's made of rubber, inflates himself to giant proportions and just throws giant monster-sized fists and limbs at an opponent. And Gear 4 is split between Snake Man and I believe Tank Man. It's Snake Man. It's is it Bound Man? Was that Gear 4? Because that was the first one we saw. We saw Gear 4 against Don Flamenco, and then Snake Man, I believe, was used against Katakuri, if I remember that correctly. Gear 2, yeah, actually I have the gears right here. Gear 2, pumping rubber nature, blood vessels and organs, it can stand the pressure. That was basically it. And Gear 3, okay. Bound Man, that's what it's called. There was Bound Man, which was the first form, which is the big round thing where his entire all of it is enhanced with like hockey, and he's capable of just causing immense damage. Tank Man is much bigger and increases his defensive abilities while sacrificing speed. And then Snake Man is slimmer while lacking focuses on speed, and while lacking defensive capabilities is also focusing on attack as well. So yeah, it's an extremely powerful double fruit even before we got to the whole scenario with Gear 5. It's an extremely malleable, pun not intended, double fruit as well. Now, Naruto, we know Naruto. He was born Naruto Uzumaki to Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze. He had to have the Nine Tails sealed in him. Ultimately, he gained both parts of the Nine Tails. He has immense chakra. He's considered one of the best hand-to-hand combatants in his world. Near infinite amount of chakra by our standards. There was Sengon, all 5 chakra elements plus several other hybrid-like natures. Keka Genkai that were provided by the tail beast, such as magnet release, lava release, all those technically, because the tail beast chakra's inside of him, he has. You have access also clearly to Kurama's chakra and Six Path's chakra as well, which gives him a couple different abilities. Granted, he no longer has the orbs, the Truth Seeker orbs, which does suck. Naruto probably would be a lot more powerful in Boruto if he had those. But whatever, he had to get rid of them just to keep Kaguya and Madara in check. And he's obviously famous for the Shadow Clones, being able to spam them. He's famous for the Rasengan, all the multiple variants, Sage Mode as well, getting Nature Chakra, having an aura around him, and just being able to... And I'm summarizing all this, because that's not really what we need to know. We need to know who would win the fight. And enhancing his own chakra, his own juice as well. Plus, having a summoning contract with the Toads is pretty nice as well. Okay, so... looking at the Naruto verse versus the One Piece verse, I don't think there's much of an argument to be made that the Naruto verse is the stronger verse. You do have planet busters. And now, they're not very high planet busters, mind you. Naruto probably can still blow up the Earth if he really had to. But note something about that statement. He could do it if he had to. He'd probably have to be using a tail beast ball, though. Because Naruto, if you actually stop and think about it, while having the capacity and the amount of energy to destroy a planet, that is true. And we see him cut the moon in half with his own chakra. Naruto, by the way, does not have that laser technique in real life. So let's be very clear about that. He can't use it here. Because I believe that's kind of how it's he just fired it all in a concentrated laser. Never seen that since. So can't use that. But Naruto on his own doesn't have a technique that is planet busting. Even his biggest Rasengan that we ever saw, which would have been the massive F-off one he used during the 4th Great Shinobi War, when he was on that mountain peak. I think that's the biggest one he ever used. I think. On his own, mind you. On his own. It's still, it was a mountain destroyer, probably leveled landscapes, but it was not a planet buster. Naruto needs Kurama and the techniques like Tail Beast Chakra, all that, because when we see him use like the Rasen Shurikens with the Tail Beast balls, those were leveling the entire country, or at least the Valley of the End. But Naruto himself doesn't have a planet-busting technique. He's got planet-busting chakra. He's got the level of chakra to bust the planet. He just doesn't have a technique in his arsenal outside of a Tail Beast bomb that could do it. So in terms of power level, is Naruto still capable of taking down Luffy? Especially because we're going to be looking at these guys at their max capacity. No point in really talking about the lower forms in this case. And I would still use Naruto before he goes to Baryon Mode, because Baryon Mode is like the last resort kind of thing to use here. That becomes a bit of a trick. If Naruto is not able to like land a Tail Beast bomb, does he have a technique that is still strong enough to actually hurt Luffy? The answer to that I do think is yes. The problem here is that Luffy in Gear 5 is kind of almost, some people said Toon Force. To a minor degree, yes. Now, he doesn't actually have Toon Force, but he acts like someone who kind of does. He literally can turn living individuals into rubber. He literally can turn anything into rubber, including things like lightning. He can turn lightning into rubber. That's nuts. So energy attacks are not a guarantee against Luffy, which is what Naruto would have to be using to take Luffy down. Meanwhile, if we're looking at just like the durability scale, Luffy's got Naruto beat on durability. Even if you factor in Kurama's chakra, Luffy literally is just like physically, between the haki he can use to enhance his physicality, which is like straight out armor, and the rubber physique, heightened to the levels that Gear 5 is at, which allowed him to withstand, I believe, the Bora Breath from Kaido, which is very similar to a Tail Beast ball. Yeah, that's the thing. Kaido's Bora Breath is actually a good analog in One Piece to a Tail Beast bomb. So, and Luffy still barely managed to survive that before that happened. And then Luffy was basically able to just ignore those from Kaido. So Naruto, unfortunately, actually lacks in durability as well here. Now, in terms of speed, though, Naruto's got a straight-out speed advantage. That is straight out. Like, Luffy is not on Naruto's level when it comes to speed. Luffy moves fast and even has light speed level reflexes. But in terms of raw speed, Naruto's got him beat. Naruto's moving multiple times faster than light. Now, granted, you can make the argument, well, he caught, what was the guy's name? The guy with the Pika Pika no Mi. He did catch him and kind of put him inside a light ball. Yes, and he definitely was moving at light speed, but that's light speed. He's not going faster than what his fruit can allow, which means Naruto completely outranks that guy in terms of speed. So I would definitely say he's got the speed advantage over Luffy. Luffy's got the durability advantage. On a power-to-power scale, Naruto, even using Kurama, probably does have the greater attack potency. I think I would give Naruto the attack potency. But ultimately, this is going to be a battle of attrition between these two. Luffy's going to be able to counter a lot of things Naruto throws at him. Like, straight energy attacks are not going to be a guarantee. Now, granted, if Luffy does manage to get hit by a Rasengan of any variety, it's still going to hurt. It's still straight energy. It's not lightning or anything like that. It's just natural energy, which Luffy isn't immediately, I think, going to be able to be prepared for. But he's still weird and wild enough in this form where he's going to basically be able to either avoid a lot of what Naruto has, because Luffy also has 3 different hakis. The Conqueror's haki is not going to work on Naruto. Naruto's will, along with Kurama being in there, is too high. The observation haki, though, just adds to Luffy's insane reaction speed. And then, like I said, the armament haki gives him extra armor. So these two are going to be duking out for a long time. And fortunately, Naruto's got so much chakra that it's kind of... It's just a matter of who's going to run out of energy first here. That, I think, is really what it comes down to. Battle of attrition, who's going to run out of energy first. And if Naruto does go into, say, Baryon Mode, I don't think Naruto would want to go into Baryon Mode. With Jigen, it worked out fine because... Sorry, was it Ishiki? No, Ishiki. With Ishiki, it worked out fine because Ishiki only had a very short amount of time on the battlefield. And that's why he was able to wear down his lifespan on that plane of existence as quickly as he did. And even then, he still didn't wear it down completely. The upside, I would say, for Naruto, if he went into Baryon mode, is Luffy is a straight hand-to-hand fighter. Like, that's... so Luffy's going to be landing shots, and that's going to be hurting him. Because Baryon mode, that's how Baryon mode works. Your two chakras collide, they're creating a new energy, and it's burning away both chakras, but at the same time, it burns away any chakra or life force the opponent has as long as they make contact. I could see Naruto maybe even making a clone, just kind of like getting Luffy in a lock, and Luffy starts to laugh a little bit until he feels his double fruit starts to fade out. Like, what? And he would get scared and has to basically get out of Naruto's way before Naruto comes in again and just smacks him again. And basically keeps wearing him down. Now, that's a worst case scenario for Naruto if he goes into Baryon mode. I personally see Naruto outlasting Luffy, though. His energy reserves, I think, are just much higher than Luffy's. Luffy's got insane stamina, by the way. I'm not arguing that. In fact, stamina, physical stamina is a question here. No, I think that's going to Luffy. Luffy, I think, fought for longer time frames because Naruto has fought for extreme conditions for a long period of time, but he's usually out of breath and tired after a while, particularly because of chakra exhaustion. Not that he's like completely out, but you know what I mean. So I think Luffy's got the stamina as well. So again, if Naruto doesn't have Kurama, and that's a big if in this scenario, we're using Naruto with Kurama here, then Naruto actually stands a very good shot of losing. Because without Kurama, yeah, Naruto's, I think, got a beat on energy and maybe on speed. But, hey, he's still got to land a shot on Luffy, and that's not going to be easy. He's now lacking his biggest guns with the Tail Beast chakra and Tail Beast balls. So he's got to hope one of his other Rasengan's hits, because that's really his biggest melee attack is a Rasengan. He's got to use clones to basically try to snag, catch Luffy off guard. And then if Luffy's already in Gear 5, then Naruto's effed, because he's just going to turn clones to rubber, turn the ground to rubber. He's going to either blitz Naruto, because Naruto's not going to know how to deal with this guy. And I shouldn't use the term blitz, because I do think Naruto's still faster even without Kurama. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. Naruto without Kurama's chakra probably isn't as fast as Luffy, now that I think about it. Like, Naruto only dodged the light speed attack from Madara because he had Sage 6 Pass chakra, which is partially it had some Tail Beast influences as well. So, yeah, without Kurama, Naruto is in a lot of trouble. I actually would think Naruto would probably lose that fight. With Kurama, though, I do think it's more of a lock for Naruto. Because, A, he's just got literal country blowing up bombs. They can just spew out thanks to Kurama's Tail Beast bombs. He can enhance Rasengans with Tail Beast bombs to make them obscenely powerful. And have various effects like lava release or wind release. The fire of the Nabi. Whatever, Magna release, so forth and so on. Magna release also could act as a sealing technique if he get his hands on Luffy. But Luffy is just a weird combatant in this sense. Very weird. His physiology is very weird, especially in Gear 5. But as it stands, I would go Naruto, but it's not as clear-cut as I think some people would make it out to be. But I digress. Who do you got? Let me know in the comments below. I'm sure I'm going to get someone getting on my case for this. I just had another person, I think it was my DCEU Superman versus Smallville Superman video. It's like, you clearly don't know anything about Smallville. It's like, and you clearly don't know anything about power levels. Like, yeah, you should shut up. Because you make yourself look like a bit of an ass when you do that. It's not I don't know about power levels. It's just hard when it's about a series I didn't follow. So I do the best I can, but I'm only human. And whereas there's plenty of other videos where no one clearly seemed to argue that point. Got another person, unfortunately, who's a bit of a regular. He started to call me out on some videos, like, it's like, that's a weird take. That's because he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm like, really? Because you always seem to say that when it's on a topic you disagreed with. Like, people are so subjective in how they're going to criticize someone. It's so stupid. Anyway, I digress. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.